original.
Hello and welcome to Web Crawlers. This is one of our mini episodes. This is a shorter episode than our main episode where we talk about all things weird, unusual news stories, read listener emails, and play our voicemails today. Sorry guys, my speech impediment came out. I had actually speech therapy growing up because I said woot off the wed-nosed reindeer. I had to go.
Oh, I said no R's too. I'd say caw. Oh,
Really?
let's go into caw. But
yeah, I was like whittle wed dwess.
You guys from Boston?
My parents actually are.
Well, that explains it.
So anyways, as I was saying, we have a very special guest today. Melissa, who do we have?
We have the most needed guest,
Yes.
according to Maria in podcast history, Mr. Paul
In all
F.
of
Tompkins.
In podcast history now.
He's not
Well?
wanted, he's needed.
Needed.
Web crawlers, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm a big fan of the show. I listen every day now.
Wow.
Oh my
You
gosh.
serious, Paul?
Yeah, Maria, I'm serious.
Okay.
All right, I choose to believe you, but I don't listen to this every day.
Well, you have chosen wisely.
Interesting. I listen to the big ones every day.
I
what
listen
do
to
you
the big
guys
ones every day
do?
too.
How do you guys have this?
In the morning, I wake up, I make my tea, I listen to my podcasts, and then I get on with my
Wow.
day. That's what I do.
I get on with my day.
It's like soap operas.
Get it out of the way.
Yeah, get
I
out
go
of the
through
way.
the drudgery of listening to my podcasts, and then I can live my life.
Yeah, I guess.
Yep.
Maria's actually never listened to this podcast.
Ellie.
I've listened.
Well, we've got Mr. Paul F. Tompkins here. He's on every podcast. You have Freedom is your own podcast. You're
That's
part of
right,
Super
Freedom.
Ego.
Super Ego, the Neighborhood Listen. I
You're
have a
Mr.
podcast-
Peanut Butter on
I'm Mr.
BoJack
Peanut Butter,
Horseman.
not a podcast project, but a
No.
related thing nonetheless. I have a podcast with my wife now during quarantine called Stay F Homekins.
I listen to Stay F Homekins. It's very funny.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you
Janie
very
saying
much.
crazy things, and Paul's going, Janie. That's the podcast.
No,
It's great.
that's not what I do. Don't make it sound like that.
That's my dream relationship.
My stupid wife.
Anyways, so today we're talking about urban legends.
Anyway.
So we're talking about urban legends. You know, like the Hook, the Hitchhiker, the little Mikey dying from Pop Rocks.
There's someone in the back seat. What did Craig just famously told us
Resurrection
one?
Mary.
Resurrection
the
Mary.
Scariest tale of them all.
Bloody Mary.
Oh, Bloody Mary.
Oh, there's also I'm going to pronounce this so wrong.
Uh-oh.
There was just a movie about it starring Linda Cardellini.
Scooby-Doo.
La Llorona.
Huh?
What?
the weeping.
La Llorona, sí.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Yes. So urban legends of all types. And like, for example, internet urban legends like Slender Man.
Oh,
There's
I love
also
the
my
Slender Man.
favorite urban legend.
The snake.
Favorite.
Whoa.
No, not the snake. That actually happened to Amanda's cousin.
No,
But
it
what-
What's the snake?
No, the measuring thing.
That actually happened to Amanda's cousin.
No, it did
Yes,
not.
it did.
it didn't.
No,
Yes, it
it
did.
did not.
Allie, what happened?
Have you heard the one about there's a spiders
Spider eggs in your face.
that actually did happen to someone I know.
No, it
Yeah,
didn't.
so
mom's
did the
friend.
snake.
Yes.
Amanda's cousin had a pet
Snake did not happen.
a boa constrictor, and he would let it sleep in the bed with him, and then
Oh no, did it eat a baby?
well. No.
No.
So what happened was it was getting larger and larger every night, and her cousin was like, "What's going on here? This is really weird."
It's getting larger every. I've
Yes.
never heard this aspect.
Yes,
before.
it's getting larger
That-
and
the
larger.
snake
Yes,
was-
the snake was stretching, and so then he
No.
called the snake
No.
vet. Yes, in Long Beach, he called the snake vet. Yes, he did. And then the snake vet said, get out of the house immediately. Get out of the house immediately. And then her cousin said, why? And he said, he's measuring you.
Oh, no.
No.
That's on Snopes as proven false.
Yeah.
That happened
Here's
to
a
Amanda's
big.
cousin.
It did not. It did not. Here's a big issue with that story. Is like, how does the snake know that it's measuring the person? So is the snake like laying down next to the person?
Yeah.
And then like raising its little snake head and saying, "Well, I'm almost there." Also,
Yeah.
I never heard the detail that the snake could magically grow its own body.
That's a weird
Well, I'm
detail.
gonna have to ask. I'm gonna have
that's
to ask
not-
Amanda then.
You should ask Amanda. Yeah.
Yeah, we should get Amanda on the horn.
Because snakes, they eat their prey by squeezing them. They
Yeah.
attack and they squeeze.
Yeah, they hug.
Yeah,
It's a surprise attack.
A python crushes. A python crushes, and then a boa constrictor, I guess, is the one that swallows it whole and
Oh, yeah.
constricts as it goes on. I think.
Yeah.
But either way, they're not like they don't grow to the size of their food.
Well, I
No.
guess if you guys don't want to believe it, whatever. But this is something that happened in the Lund family, and I think it's honestly a little bit traumatic. But whatever. No. You guys do whatever you're gonna do.
Okay.
So wait, so Amanda's cousin did run out of the house.
Ran out of the house. Yeah, and never went back.
Like went to the fire department
I think right to the realty office and said,
to buy a new house with new snakes.
Yes.
Yeah. Smart.
Yes.
Smart.
Just burned her house down with a snake in it. That's all you can do.
You guys
glad
are
you came out
ignorant. You guys are ignorant.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
Okay,
enough.
so there's the classic urban legend about the flashing headlights. You guys know this one?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the legend
heard it, I
of
think.
the gang members, they were to be initiated into the gang. They drive around without their headlights on, and then they wait for someone to flash their headlights. And when they do, they follow them and they murder whoever flashed the headlights first. It's like a game they play.
Yeah. And then you're in the
Like
game.
a Grease type. Something that they might do in Greece.
Yes.
It's just like Grease.
Grease
Exactly
lightning.
like Grease.
Mm-hmm.
So this rumor became popular in the 90s via fax and email. So apparently people were faxing.
Hey, what's your fax number? I want to send you a bunch of bullshit. I want to send you some flimsy bullshit on some flimsy paper. I definitely want you to expend ink on this.
Yes.
Ink and toner.
It's important.
Which are probably like $1,000 back then.
Yeah, it's $1,000 to send you this urban legend. So the origin, it may have begun in 1993 when this woman, Kelly Freed, was shot and killed in Stockton. She was riding in the passenger seat when a driver
Of her best
signaled-
friend's ride?
Yes.
Aww.
She was yelling at there were some scrubs. And she was like, no, you can't have a ride. But she signaled, or whoever's driving flashed a car, and they took the flashing lights as an insult, and they drove back and they shot her.
It is insulting. Oof.
It is.
Well, yeah, a flash of the headlight is a very passive aggressive maneuver because it's
But
either
I
going
think it's
like
friendly. I do it.
it's helpful.
Yes, it's helpful.
I do it whenever I'm mad and don't want to get into a confrontation. I tell whoever I'm mad at to come outside. I get in my car and I flash my headlights a couple times, and
That's a
then
different interpretation, I think.
Maria.
then they know that I'm mad. That I'm mad.
Well, I guess we know what to look out for.
In Maria's driveway.
If you know that there's a cop, if there's a cop and they're giving out speeding tickets, don't you flash your lights at people coming the opposite way just
Yes.
to warn them?
That's a thing I used to do that back in the boonies in Michigan.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it's a good Samaritan thing to do to
I
flash
don't even
your
know
lights
how
at
to
people.
flash my lights, to be honest.
You pull the thing back. You pull the thing
You
back.
I don't
need to
think
get your
so.
license taken away.
Really? You'll have to pry
Yeah.
it from my cold, dead hands. My
Maria,
license.
Stop flirting. Stop flirting with me again. You're in a relationship.
That's unique to, I think, places like California where there's not a lot of fog. And so
Right.
you hardly ever use your high beams.
That's right.
Use them on the back roads.
I feel like there's a potential for this urban legend to become true because of people that are like, it's my freedom to not have my lights on. And it's the same people that would have guns in their cars that would shoot you for insulting them, for trying to control them.
Yeah, 100%.
That's my theory, guys.
You're giving Maria ideas right now.
No, don't.
Nothing wrong with an idea.
Don't put on that roof rack, Maria.
So another car-related urban legend is the person in the back seat,
Yes.
where the legend goes that a lady was at a gas station filling up her tank, and then she went to get back in her car when the station attendant called her into the store, and he says, "Oh, there's trouble with your payment. You need to come back inside." And once inside, he tells her, "Oh, a man snuck into the back seat of your car." And she looks out and sees a man slipping out of the car.
Oh.
I've never heard it that way. I've always heard it that it was too late. That she sees him in the rearview mirror.
Well, this is the good ending of the urban legend.
Absolutely. This is just more like to warn people in a more believable way, to make it less like a ghost story.
When you get gas in your car, do you guys lock your doors?
Yeah.
No,
I do too.
But I think I should.
I do because of this urban legend.
Well, have you seen the movie Urban Legends?
Oh yeah, like
This happens a different way.
how did it happen in the movie?
Okay, so the person's like, your payment didn't work. She goes into the gas station, and the gas station guy like scares her because he's like, there's someone in the back seat, and she's like, oh my God, you're crazy. So then she goes back into the car. She starts driving, and then there is someone in the back seat, and she gets beheaded.
Why would her reaction be that's crazy?
Was he a weirdo in the movie?
Yeah, he was a weirdo.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he was like, there's someone in your back seat. She's like, what, sir? And he's like, you better watch out. Like, he wasn't saying
You stole my
Like in
story.
Secret Window?
You stole my story.
You stole my story.
Your favorite impression.
You stole my story.
John
Is
Turturro.
that from a high window?
Secret Window. You remember
Secret
that
Window.
Johnny Depp movie?
Oh my God. Yes. I think I only ever saw the trailer.
You stole my story.
You
Stole my story.
You stole my story. It's fun to say.
It is good.
This urban legend, it originated in the late 60s because it made it into an Ann Landers column in 1962.
Really?
1982.
Wow. Well, let me ask you about your gas buying habits, because even at night for me, I'm there at the pump putting my own gas in the car. Like I do it with a credit card, so I'm never leaving the car.
But well, I guess in Michigan, when it was freezing and snowing, you put the pump in, you can like put a little click up there so it holds it in, and then you get back in the car.
Well, I do that so I can wash my windows.
You're not supposed to go back in the car while you're filling up.
Well, why don't you grow up in Kalamazoo and fill up your gas
You know
tank
what's
in
crazy
negative?
though?
Ooh. Melissa, you're going to have to go to Maria's driveway now.
Oh no, you're going to flash your lights at me.
Flick, flick. In Oregon, you can't pump your own gas.
Oh, right. It's
And
illegal.
Jersey, too, yeah.
Really?
Why?
It's crazy. When I took a road trip up to Oregon, and as soon as you get to Oregon, you are not allowed to pump your own gas.
That's kind of nice, actually.
It's ridiculous, I think.
Do you tip the gas pumping?
Yeah.
I wanted to get my screwdriver, too.
Wait, Paul, I've got a screwdriver too.
What? Maria?
What?
Paul, did you see my screwdriver and that's why you got yours, or did you just pick one up?
No, I just had my screwdriver.
Is that true?
I pick up a screwdriver for every podcast I record.
No,
Yes.
Paul, did you see me picking up my screwdriver and then you went for yours?
Of course I did.
You dirty rat.
Why are you waving a screwdriver around?
Because I don't have any headlights.
Well, you fucking got me. But wait. So, do you all, here in Los Angeles, do you all lock your cars when you get out to pump your gas?
I do, yes.
I do instinctively, I do.
I feel like because I'm a woman, maybe?
No, of course. But you don't leave the area of your car, do you?
No. I usually get back into my car because I also heard about people who will steal like purses out of cars and like wallets.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't lock it because of this urban legend. Like, I'm not afraid of someone getting in the back seat, but I do.
Okay,
That would be scary, though.
No one's accusing you of anything.
Yeah.
Just get furious.
So this, it came from an Ann Landers column in 1982, but like the closest thing to like a real origin story was in 1964, a murder suspect hid in the back of the car, which ended up belonging to a police detective, and the man was shot by the detective.
That sounds fake too.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, just my luck.
But there's also other iterations of this about when there's someone in the back seat and then the truck behind keeps flashing lights.
Yes.
Every
I've heard
time the
that
guy
one.
pops up.
Yeah. Every time the guy pops up.
So that combines the
that's
flashing
scary.
headlights and this. It's like two urban legends in one.
Wait a minute. Why would the car in back know that the guy in the back seat wasn't supposed to be there?
Good
Good
point.
question, Maria.
Because he's like slowly lifting. He has like a knife. He's like slowly reaching up with the knife.
Why doesn't he do it? Why does he keep second guessing himself?
Because the truck keeps stopping him.
The truck is flashing the lights, and the woman keeps looking.
The guy's measuring you.
Oh my god. So then this one's crazy.
I hate this one so much.
I haven't heard of this one.
You haven't?
No. The title is Dog Licking Kids
This is my
Hand
favorite
While
one.
in Bed.
This is my favorite
really?
one. Yes, and this
I haven't
actually
heard it.
happened to my best friend.
No,
this happened
it
to, yes,
Oh,
it did.
wait. I know this one.
yes,
This
it
did
did.
not know. Maria.
It did. My best friend Susan. Yes, it did in grade school.
Susan?
Susan's
Okay. What's Susan's
parents-
last name?
What? Susan's last name?
Anthony.
La Jolla.
B.
No,
Anthony.
Susan La Jolla, and you can look her up on
Banthony.
Facebook or whatever.
Susan La Jolla.
Susan La Jolla. I bet she knows Lydia de Alva
It was
Ladejo.
my friend Carmen San Diego.
You guys sound so ignorant right now because she's been in therapy for years because of this. Her parents went out of town for the night, and she was like, we were like,
They went out of
11
town for the night.
Yes.
That's like so 80s.
No,
Where did they go?
So 80s.
they had to go down to San Diego, ironically.
To see Carmen, to see their other daughter, Carmen.
So they had to go out of town for the night, and they said, do you need a babysitter? And we were like 11 or 12, and she was like, no, I'll be fine. We live in the Palisades, like it's totally safe. And they were like, you've got Rudolph the dog. It was this cute golden retriever Rudolph.
Rudolph. What
a good name.
coincidence.
Yeah, I know. He was so cute. So then, like, during the night, I guess Susan would get like kind of scared, and so she would she was like sitting in bed, and whenever she'd get scared, she'd go, Rudolph, give me a little lick on the hand, to let her know that he was there protecting her, you know. And so she was doing that all throughout the night, and then at what point she went, Rudolph, give me a lick, and he licked it. And then she said, well, I got to go downstairs and get a glass of water. And so she walked downstairs to get a glass of water. Rudolph was dead. Turns out an escaped murderer was hiding out under her bed, licking her hand.
Wow.
That sounds real.
It
And
was
she-
real.
and what
Susan left
happened?
after that. Susan left school after that.
So the murderer just stayed under the bed?
He didn't murder her.
Well, what does your urban legend say happened at the end? I'd love to know.
I'm so glad you asked.
Well, what happened to this other person that this happened to?
Yeah. This common thing that happens all the time. So a girl is home sleeping in bed with her dog. She hears a dripping sound in the middle of the night and gets up to investigate. Finding nothing, she lays back down and her dog licks her hand as she falls back asleep. This happens again and again and she finds nothing.
Ew.
Finally, she gets up and goes into the bathroom where she is greeted by a horrific sight. Her beloved dog with its throat slit is hanging from the shower.
Okay, yeah.
Its blood this
That's
is what happened,
Susan's
Maria?
story. Yeah, I left that part out. But yeah, that's
Okay. It's blood drip, drip, dripping from the ground. Horrified, she looks at the mirror where written in her dog's blood are the words, "Humans can lick too."
What?
That's right. I forgot.
You forgot
that's
that part,
bad.
Maria, that very important detail of writing in blood on the mirror.
yeah.
This is disgusting.
really,
That's
you know,
right.
We're ignorant. I get it. This urban legend can be traced back to a diary entry from 1871 England, penned by a man named Derma Burchell. Burchell recalls hearing a tale at a party of a woman who roused her husband in the middle of the night, saying she felt like there was a robber under the bed and implored him to investigate. The man replied that it was just their dog. He had felt him lick his hand. The next morning, all the jewels had been stolen.
All the jewels were stolen.
This is insane. This story had spread far and wide and was featured in an episode of The L Word.
Oh,
That's end of the tale.
congrats, urban legend.
That's like the Emmys for urban legends.
One variation I heard was that it was an escaped mental patient from like a psychiatric hospital was just licking the hand. And you know that
Interesting.
I don't sleep with my arms hanging off the bed or my limbs hanging off the bed because of this urban legend.
Wow.
Well, that's just a gross feeling.
It's
In
scary.
general.
I can't have my hand hanging out. I'm afraid that like something's going to come from under my bed, even though
What
I don't
about-
have an underneath my bed.
Melissa,
solid
what about do you ever stick your foot out to regulate your temperature at night?
Yes, but I don't hang it over the mattress. It has to stay
I see.
on the
Okay.
bed.
All right.
She like lifted up.
Yes.
Straight up in the air. Yeah.
Straight up in the air. Get the blood flowing back to.
The next one is the snake, but we already talked about snake measuring. So Melissa,
Debunked.
no, it's not
Should we-
debunked. And Amanda's going to come on and tell you guys about it.
I can't wait. Okay.
oh,
Well,
good. We can
okay, great.
we can loop that in. Melissa, should we go to the hook?
Ooh, the hook.
Classic.
Oh, Amanda's in the waiting room, Melissa.
She
Oh my God,
is?
she's
Oh,
here.
shit.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Oh my God,
Okay.
we're having a rager.
Oh, I gotta go, you guys.
Oh, connected.
Yeah, I hear
Hello.
you.
Yay.
Wow. Look at that bikini.
I
Yeah.
know.
Sorry.
Look out, boys.
Sorry.
Amanda,
boys.
they don't believe. I've been trying to tell them about your cousin and the boa constrictor, and they're saying, "Oh, you're making fun. This is all a joke."
Have you told them the story?
Well, I
Yes.
I told them, and they made fun of me.
We did.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't tell it, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, let's hear it.
But Paul and Melissa, haven't you heard this before?
I have. It's like it's on Snopes.
Mm-mm.
Well, maybe my
It's on
cousin.
Snopes.
My cousin must have put it on Snopes.
Yeah.
Maria shook her head like, no, it's not on Snopes.
This happened to your cousin.
My
I think
cousin-
it's really
My cousin
disrespectful.
Robbie had a boa constrictor. They were very close. They slept in the bed together, and
What?
they were very, very close. And the boa constrictor had like free reign over the house, and so it would sleep in the bed with Robbie. And then in the middle of the night, Robbie woke up and he looked, and the boa constrictor was just like straight like a board. So he thought he was dead. And so he called the vet. He called the emergency vet line. And the vet said, he told the vet the symptoms. And the vet said, get out
Symptoms.
now. And then Robbie goes, why? And the vet said, he's not dead. He's measuring you.
No.
Yes.
Who did your cousin told this to you?
Yeah. And then
When did he tell this to you?
years ago.
Have you ever seen a picture of the snake?
Yeah.
You for
How
sure
old,
had a
how
snake.
old were you? How old were you when he told you the story, and how old was he?
We were both 11.
Okay.
Okay.
That's like when Susan had her, my friend, Amanda, my best friend Susan La Jolla in grade school. Remember when I told you that her parents went out of town, and then her dog
the
was
night.
licking her hand. Remember? And
Horrible.
Then,
And then
remember
there's
that? Was that horrible?
Yeah. But did you hear about the one about the my friend who married a woman, but they were both religious, so they never slept in the same bed together, and she would always wear a choker.
So stupid.
Do you guys know I think
That's
it's
true.
my cousin's friend had this portrait of himself hanging in his house and it was like the portrait got older, but he never did.
You guys are making
that's a
fun.
good
What
one.
happened to Amanda's friend, religious friends, is actually really scary because what happened was when they removed the ribbon, the woman's head fell off.
No, you're serious?
It rolled right off.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Was that on the news?
I don't know. It was in 1997, so you'll have to go through the archives. What's this episode on?
Cousins. Cousins are
Cousins.
stories our cousins tell.
Cousins and their stories.
Oh, cousins. Can't live with them. Can't live without them.
True.
So Robbie, did they get rid of the snake or what did they do?
Well, he had to rehome it.
Right.
Well, so it went to someone
I bet
else's
that was
home
a-
and it ate
yeah.
them.
I bet that was an awkward conversation.
Probably went to go live
Hey,
on a farm.
You look pretty tall. Do you want a snake that's shorter than you?
You better hope it starts from the feet.
What's that mean?
Well, if it starts from the head, it doesn't matter how tall you are.
Well, thanks, Amanda. I
Okay.
think this was good because it gave a little bit of humanity to the story.
That's good.
I
Yeah.
agree.
It did put a face on it.
Yeah.
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 Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks, Amanda.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Well, the
Wow.
proof is
See?
in the pudding.
There we go.
There we go. So,
One 11-year-old to another.
yeah.
This story holds water all these years later.
So the hook is about these two people are making out in a car and on Lover's Lane and they're listening to the radio doing some necking.
Oh yes.
Damn.
And then the music was interrupted by this radio announcer who's like, well, there was an escaped convict in the area. Just be careful. He's got a hook for a hand, so watch out. And so the couple became frightened and they drove away. And when the boy took the girl home, he went around to open the car door and there was a hook on the door handle.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
but didn't they hear the hook go into? I thought there was like a scratching noise.
Oh, that's one
I feel like
iteration of it.
yeah, right? Is that also the hook? But then she gets out of the car. He goes out to look to make sure everything's safe.
Right.
Then there's a scratching on the roof. And then she gets out of the car and she sees he's hanging from a tree over the car. And it's his feet scraping on the car.
Oh,
Oh
right.
my god.
That's better than this one.
That's
This
what
is-
happens in the movie Urban Legend.
Really?
Oh.
And it happened to my old neighbor.
No, it didn't.
Axl Rose.
My old neighbor.
Ollie's old neighbor, Axl Rose.
My old neighbor Axl Rose, which we have to do another episode on because we got a weird email. We'll
We
talk about it
did.
next week about some weird stuff about Axl Rose.
So some people think this hook story is just like a cautionary tale about teenage sexuality. Like if the girl hadn't said no to the boy, then they'd both be dead.
Right.
So it's like, say no to the boy, otherwise you're going to get killed with a man with a hook.
That's a good PSA.
It is a PSA.
Oh.
And then have you guys heard the Paul is dead
yes.
rumor?
Yes.
Apparently Ringo Starr admitted that Paul McCartney died in a car crash in the 60s and he was replaced by a lookalike.
He admitted it.
You did not admit that.
He
That's
just
the
let it,
that's the legend.
He let it slip.
He did not
The
admit
conversation. Like, oh no, the one thing I'm not supposed to tell anyone.
There was hidden messages in the albums. And if you look at the cover of Abbey Road, you'll see the four guys. Paul is not wearing shoes.
That's right.
And his right foot is forward instead of his left foot.
If memory serves, in that Abbey Road picture, they are trying to send the signal that Paul is dead because Paul is not wearing shoes. George is dressed in like working clothes, like the gravedigger. John is wearing white, like the preacher, and Ringo is wearing black, like the Undertaker. And then there's a license plate on a VW Bug that's in the picture. It's something like if 69 or something like it's like he would have been this age if it's fucking ridiculous.
Wow, that's a stretch.
But this is the kind of stuff that I like about conspiracy theories, is when people are finding these things that will support their story, but it's all based on nothing, but it's fun.
Yes.
Like I really enjoyed however, I will say, did you guys see Room? What is it? Fucking the one about The Shining.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, it's horrible
room
that they were
237 or
Room
something.
232 or 230, whatever it is. I thought that movie was just about the moon landing conspiracy,
right?
And how The Shining was exposing that Kubrick directed the moon landing and all this. But then what I did not realize was that it was just an uninterrupted string of conspiracy theories given in voiceover.
Yeah,
and I laughed at about
it.
Oh, well, I mean, good luck to you. I lasted a half hour.
I tapped out too. Yeah, I tapped out.
I couldn't take it. Because it was just one theory is kind of fun to explore, but just a million billion theories is just too much. It was overwhelming for me.
One theory's nice, 2 theories cool, 3 theories is a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right.
But apparently there's a clip at the end of at the end of Strawberry Fields where John says cranberry sauce. He's apparently saying, I'm very bored, but people think he's saying, I buried Paul.
Oh.
Why would they bury Paul with no shoes, though?
Why would you say I'm very bored on a recording?
Yeah. Maria says it all the time on these recordings.
I don't have to say it. You just hear me typing. You just hear me typing and looking at the internet.
And then there's the Pop Rocks and soda killed little Mikey.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this one, people don't really know where it originated, but most likely just somewhere from the Midwest in like the late 70s. And the sales, what's even crazier is that the sales of Pop Rocks like went down. They had to take out ads saying that they did not,
God, really?
that they weren't dangerous.
Oh my God.
And they tried to get Mikey to be in a commercial for Pop Rocks, but he had a contract with Life Cereal. And his parents were like, we don't want to get him in the middle of all this.
Wait, so the conspiracy was that Mikey from Life Cereal
Yes.
died,
Mikey likes it.
Yeah, but then Mikey...
He died from eating Pop Rocks and soda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this Pop Rocks company, they went bankrupt in 1982, and they lost millions of dollars. They had to bury like 300 million pouches of Pop Rocks. They buried it in a landfill.
Why'd they bury it?
Because they didn't know what to do. No one was buying it. They had warehouses full of this stuff. Can you? What if you poured soda on the landfill? Like, would it?
That's what I was gonna say. A volcano. It was like Mount Vesuvius.
Because MythBusters did an episode on this, I think, where they tested out eating Pop Rocks and drinking soda, and like nothing happened.
I did it.
You've done it?
Years later. Yes, years later. When I like remembered, because they brought Pop Rocks back. Pop Rocks
they
came
did.
Back.
They did.
Yeah. And I remember trying it with friends, and there was like, we were in our 20s, and there was like a moment of,
you could die.
Is something gonna happen?
It's like Russian roulette.
What I love about this one is that it's not enough to just say, if you mix Pop Rocks and soda, you will die. They also, for some reason, attached Mikey from Life Cereal. Like they could have picked
A
anybody.
great movie is Life with Mikey. Have you guys seen Life with Mikey with Michael J. Fox?
No.
You guys, it's such a good movie. He plays like a Mikey type character who's now like an agent, but he used to be a child actor.
And there's a little girl, Curly Sue.
No, but it's another little precocious girl. And
played by Curly Sue?
The girl from Waterworld.
No, she was an Andre. This is another girl.
Do you mean Helen?
Who's Helen? Who's Helen?
Wasn't that the name of the little girl in Waterworld? Or was that what's her name? Gene Triplehorn's character. Somebody was named Helen, and it made me laugh for some reason.
A baby named Helen.
No, it's a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, you should check it out. The tagline is he's a talent agent, she's a thief. Looks like they've already got something in common.
I have seen that movie.
Oh.
I remember it. I have seen that movie.
It's a great tagline for like the Midwest. I bet they thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, this one I've heard of. Razor blades and Halloween candy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Kids getting razor blades or needles and candy. This was big in the 70s and 80s. The origin is huge. The origin in 1959. This is
59.
smart.
Wow.
Yeah. A California dentist, William Shine, gave, oh my God, candy-coated laxative pills to trick-or-treaters. He was charged with outrage of public decency and unlawful dispensing of drugs.
Outrage
of public decency.
So that's maybe where that originated.
Why did he do that? Because he wanted kids to have a bad association with candy?
I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
It's
yep.
like vigilante dentistry.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's kind of a genius idea.
I mean, it's not a bad idea. Wild.
But also, another thing that happened, the Tylenol murders happened right before Halloween in the 80s.
What are the Tylenol murders?
What are the Tylenol murders?
I
What?
don't know what the Tylenol
Oh, this is horrible. This is a truly horrible thing.
We should probably do
are the
a whole Web Crawlers episode about this. You remember
Yeah,
when
you
people in the
should.
80s started dying in Chicago because someone put cyanide in Tylenol pills and put it back on the shelf.
What?
It's
Are
a
you
whole,
serious?
it's
Yes.
a crazy story. It's like a whole.
That was like the beginning of child safety caps.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. Yeah, we should definitely. How did I not know about? Well, I mean, there's a lot I don't know about. That's crazy.
Yeah. So they're thinking like that doctor or the dentist, and then this kind of like drummed it up again because people are like, oh, people can tamper with like packaged stuff.
Holy shit.
When a doctor does a weird thing like that, it's the scariest thing in the world.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
It's so terrifying. Like the
Doctor's gone rogue.
Doctor's gone rogue is so scary to me. Oh, first do no harm. First do no harm.
Hippocratic Oath.
Come on.
That's what in Little Shop of Horrors. That's why Steve Martin scared me so much.
Oh. Yeah,
like
crazy
one of my first
doctors
nightmares.
in movies.
Crazy
are
dentist.
Oh, they're so creepy.
Because there's something so sociopathic about wanting to like be a surgeon, and like if you have like one chromosome, like it's crazy.
Like Dr.
Yeah.
Death,
yes,
that podcast.
Yeah.
Dr. Death, the guy that the fertility doctor that inseminated all those women with his own
Oh,
semen.
yeah.
So gross.
It's crazy.
You can't trust doctors.
Cannot trust doctors.
Don't trust doctors.
Okay, so this is a weird one. Melissa, I have never heard of this. Melissa wrote in this doc, sometimes I just like to differentiate what I write and what Melissa wrote. Melissa wrote, Snapple was once owned by the KKK and then Osama bin Laden.
And then Osama. Wait, the Klan sold Snapple to Osama bin Laden?
Famously. Didn't that nice lady do all the Snapple commercials too in the
Snapple
90s?
lady.
One rumor suggests a small letter K on Snapple labels stands for the KKK. But the symbol means that Snapple, like Coca-Cola and thousands of other products, meets kosher dietary standards. We are going to get emails for that one that we are saying kosher somehow has to do with the KKK.
That's what people think. It's on the internet.
I've never heard that one.
I've never heard it either. It was
I
just
haven't
a
either.
random one.
Melissa started it. Then this one is needles in coin return slots of payphones. I have heard of
You've
that.
heard that
I
one.
feel like I've heard of that one. Yeah.
Oh,
I've heard of
God.
Yeah. Well, that happened after AIDS became a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because people were like, oh, drug users are depositing their dirty needles into payphones or like drink machines.
Who
So you
has
put your
the
finger in there.
time?
They
Well, there
just
is-
want to get high. That's all. They're not thinking like, okay, and I'm also going to do a lethal prank.
But there was I remember the needle in the Coke can. Remember that one?
No.
No.
Do tell.
The needle in there was like, don't drink Coke for a little bit because there was a needle
Oh.
can. Hold on. Let's see. Reports 1993 reports of needles and soda cans climb. Reports of cans of Pepsi Cola products containing syringes and hypodermic needles continue to be recorded yesterday.
What?
I'm on Snopes right now. Now, they are saying it's false. The origins are in 1990, a clerk for a Steinberg grocery store in Eastern Ontario discovered something in a Pepsi bottle he at first mistook for a straw. At closer examination revealed it was a syringe. And the bottle was rescued from the shelf before it fell into the hands of a consumer. Okay, so then that went into the 1993 Pepsi syringe panic. So this was a whole thing.
Wow.
But wait, Snopes said this did not happen?
That didn't stop Maria
It
from
sounds like it
continuing.
did
I
happen.
feel like that was in there somewhere.
Pepsi,
Yeah, she just glazed over
well,
it.
I don't want to read the whole thing. I just want you to come to your own conclusion. Though most finds involved syringes, the list of items allegedly recovered from Pepsi, Diet Pepsi, and caffeine-free Diet Pepsi cans included a wood screw, a bullet, a crack vial, a broken sewing machine, and a mysterious blob of brown
A broken
goo.
sewing machine in a can of Coke, Maria?
Pepsi and the Food Drug Administration
That's what I heard
soon-
too, Allie. Half a car.
Wow. Sewing machine for ants.
They're saying
An
it was a
entire boa
hoax.
constrictor.
They're saying it was a giant hoax. Once the first find was publicized, a number of unscrupulous people who sought to cash in on it created a rolling wave of growing hysteria. So they're saying all of these finds were phony.
This is like the finger in the chili, in the Wendy's chili.
That's right.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
We talked about that on what
We did.
on our fast food
I
It was our
episode.
fast food episode.
The
Yeah.
weed of crime bears bitter fruit.
Yep.
Oh my God, you actually do listen.
Yes! Who would say they listened if they didn't? They're just open yourself up to
A lot of
being
people.
caught out so many times.
A lot of people.
Do a lot of people tell you that they listen and they don't listen?
I mean, I would imagine.
No one tells us that that they listen.
That is true. We've never heard that before. Melissa, what is this crying baby thing?
The most recent urban legend that I've heard that I actually saw this like on Instagram lately is the crying baby outside of your window.
This is scary.
Like, if
What?
Take note, you guys. 'Cause
Yeah.
This is real.
Oh, I think I do know this.
So if you hear a crying baby outside your window, don't go and look.
Wait, I have heard this.
Because
yes.
it could be like a serial
Yes.
killer.
Yes, and somebody has a fucking recording of a
Yes.
crying baby and they put it in. This is no one's doing this.
Yes, they are. That's
There
how
was
they're
an,
getting
it
into their
happened
houses.
in Pennsylvania. There was like an article about it.
Moms circulate this in email
Right.
chains, and they're like, tell your daughters because this is happening and they need to stay safe.
Someone posted this on Instagram like recently that I follow that like I some kind of respect, and I was like, what?
Wait, did they post it as text? Was it one of those?
Yes.
Oh, I love when people do that. Whenever you can discount that immediately when you see
Yeah.
people, somebody posting
Yeah.
text of any kind.
But there was a news story,
Yeah, this Pittsburgh story.
Okay, tell it. What is it?
2020, this year. People reported, like college kids, they said they reported to the police that they could hear crying babies outside of their windows. It was like on multiple different occasions.
And then the 911 said stay inside. And then the two college sorority sisters who lived on the south side say they feel safe living there, but not anymore. One college girl says, we've been staying together and not letting anyone be alone. This week, they say they heard what seemed like recordings of babies crying and someone shouting for help right outside their door.
So for the listeners who don't know how this story ends, what happens when you hear the baby?
You open the door. It's because there's a little bassinet there or whatever with a blanket over it. And you go to look for the baby. when you peel back like the cloth or the
Peel it
blanket,
back.
you see it's like just a moving tape recorder. And you hear the baby crying. And then as soon as you look up, a man grabs you by the neck and brings you into the house and murders you.
All
I mean, that's a good,
Yeah.
that's a good,
Smart.
good
That's good
prank.
screenwriting.
Yeah.
So wait, and so is there any actual case of this having happened?
Pittsburgh, 2020.
Well,
But
people
no,
heard it.
People heard it. Nobody got murdered.
I don't believe
Thank God,
so.
Paul. You sick son of a bitch. God.
No, I don't think so.
So it could be that this was a prank, and then somebody filled in the blanks.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you, where you grew up, Paul, were there any urban legends that like we didn't talk about today?
You know, I was trying to think about that because I feel like they're so pervasive, and I knew a lot of the same ones that you all knew. You know,
Yeah.
Our local cryptid was the Jersey Devil.
Oh, right.
We love the Jersey Devil.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't remember. I was trying to think, was there anything exclusive to? Okay. There was a newscaster in Philadelphia who there was a rumor started about him that it was just the Richard Gere gerbil rumor, but then they just also which we also had, like everyone knew that story,
Yeah.
but then they also just put it on this guy for whatever reason,
God.
and it was everyone had heard this. And I was in high school, in my senior year of high school, I took part in a journalism program called News Studies, where we went to the local, the NBC affiliate, and we took the journalism class, and we had to like write and report our own story, you know, and it was a really cool thing that I got to do. But at one point early on, you know, the instructor, who was this, I can't remember her name now, but she was a radio reporter. She was really cool. Somebody, you know, we were talking and, you know, she was just taking kind of general questions. I feel like it was early on in the class. And somebody asked, like, is it true about that guy and the gerbil? I can't, to this day, like, the balls on that kid to ask that question.
Oh my God.
And she knew about it too. She was like, look, no, no one did this. This guy didn't do it. Richard Gere didn't do it. No one has done this. And so the guy eventually left the NBC affiliate. And when I moved out to LA in the mid 90s, I think around 2000, something like that, he ended up on like E or something. I was like, oh my God, that's the guy from my local news. They had that rumor
Was it
about
Ryan Seacrest?
It was not Ryan Seacrest. Not Ryan, because I don't think this guy's with, I don't know where this guy is now. He might still work for you, I don't know. But somebody out here who was not from Philadelphia attributed that rumor to him out here. I was like,
God.
I can't believe this fucking followed him.
Holy
It was wild. It was wild. But yeah, it's as far as I know, it's not true. But you know what? Maybe
You know, there's some truth to everything.
That's what Justin Timberlake says.
It isn't.
He says
is that a what does he say?
there's truth to every joke. That's what Timberlake says.
That's real deep, JT.
Just like Jennifer Aniston says, if you don't eat protein right after you work out, then you might as well have not even worked out.
Oh,
Interesting.
These are just little things I take with me throughout my life. I pick them up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, well.
What else is going on, guys?
Yeah, what's going on? I think that's all. Oh, Slender Man.
Oh, good old Slender Man.
Slender
Do we have
Man.
time for Slender Man?
Yeah, I feel
mean,
like Slender Man.
We all know Slender Man.
Did and done. Sad story. Kids need to stay off the internet.
All right, well.
I think that's it. That's all we have. Yeah, dudes?
That's all we got for today.
Yeah. Well, Paul, thank you so much for coming on. We're so appreciative.
Thank you for having me. This was a ball. I had such a good time.
Good. It's good to hear.
Was that the wrong thing to say?
No, it was good.
that-
It was just earnest.
No one's ever said it.
You don't
That's something so nice to me ever in my life. I don't know how to react.
We'll save you from having to hear our outro, but have a good rest of the day, and thank you. It was so nice to finally meet you.
Wait, why can't I hear the outro?
You don't want to hear it, Paul.
What? Fair enough. This really was a ball. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Bye, Paul.
All
Bye,
right,
Paul.
Bye.
There he goes.
There he goes.
Awesome.
What a fun guy.
He's not a mushroom.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Do you want to hear Craig's Ascension Woman story?
Yes.
Yes. Let's get Craig on.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Everyone looks great today.
Thanks.
Thank you. Tell us your story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Well, that's a little tight. Everyone knows the resurrection Mary because it's you guys know that story. It's been told. It's kind of like a lore at this point. Resurrection Cemetery in Chicago. There was always reports of a woman walking around inside the cemetery, like late at night. People would call this. You've heard this, right, Melissa?
I've heard. Yeah, cemetery woman.
Yeah, there's like a million variations, and then the dudes driving by the cemetery, they pick up a hitchhiking woman. She gives a address where to go to. Guy goes to the house. Right when he pulls up in front of the house, the woman vaporizes. He goes to the door, knocks on the door. The woman's mother answers the door and says, "That was my daughter. She died 10 years ago."
Whoa.
Holy
You guys haven't heard any variation of this?
I've heard some variation of that.
I have heard a variation.
Yeah, it all stems from Resurrection Cemetery. There's a crazy... If we could jump to my hometown of Chicago here.
Yeah.
Let's jump.
Okay, well, it earned the reputation, and I don't know if I coined the reputation name,
Wow.
but it's the Triangle of Death.
Oh fuck.
Oh.
Chicago to Milwaukee to Rockford has had more serial killers, mass murderers, and mass deaths than anywhere else.
Are you
True.
serious?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, obviously, there's you guys know the story of Richard Speck, mass murderer.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know that one, really, Richard Speck.
I don't.
He went in. Some people don't anymore. He went into a nurse's dormitory, trapped women in one room, and then brought them to the next room and raped them and murdered them one at a time. And
Yeah, that's
he-
a
he-
crazy story.
Yeah, he killed seven women, I think. Anyway, and then in the late 70s, it was obviously John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
There was Dahmer, obviously. Another thing, though, you know the story of the Great Chicago Fire.
Yes.
Whole city burned down. The only building that didn't burn down was the water tower in Chicago. It's like this old Gothic-looking thing. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the deal. The water tower is on the north, considered like the Gold Coast, the wealthier part of Chicago. Mm-hmm. That is on property that was owned by one of the founders of the Church of Satan in America. Not only that, hold on a second. On that same property is where Hugh Hefner started the Playboy empire.
Oh.
Stop.
So that you can say, okay, well, that's that could fall under the whole Satan thing, right? It was like the rise of pornography.
Weird.
Not only that,
Uh-oh.
that's also where the John Hancock building is. The John Hancock building is probably like the third or fourth tallest building in Chicago at this point. It's the building where Chris Farley was found dead in.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's the building where the little girl from Poltergeist.
Yeah.
She was filming Poltergeist 2, and it took place in that building, and she died of like some weird like colon disease. She was like 10 years old or something.
Right.
And
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry if I'm railroading you guys.
No.
More people were killed building the John Hancock Center than any other building in America.
Oh, I've heard that.
Holy shit.
Lastly, every couple years, like a pane of glass falls from the building and slices somebody in half who's walking by on the street.
Wait, like Final Destination style?
Yeah, a woman if you look up, like, if you Google, like, John Hancock glass death. There was like a woman, I think like maybe 5 years ago, just walking by.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's happened a few times, like way more than it should, right?
Wow, that building's cursed.
That's all on that lot of land where the water tower is that didn't burn down the Chicago fire. Church of Satan, Playboy, that building, like it's this crazy, and just about maybe 15 minutes from there is where John Wayne Gacy did all, not that that's related, but.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's not
Holy
really
shit.
that's not really an urban legend. Oh,
No, but I mean, it's good.
two other mass deaths, though, that no one talks about. The Iroquois Theater fire. Do you know about this? There was a play going on. It was packed to the gills, and the doors were locked, and a fire broke out. It was like 430 people died. Like, it was one of the biggest mass deaths in American history. Nobody talks. It might even be more than that.
Wow.
And the stories are horrific. Then there's another story about this boat it was like a decommissioned military boat. They were holding parties on it, docked on the Chicago River. I think it was like in like 15 or something. It was, it's a dance party or whatever. Everybody goes on the boat. All these people were on the boat. It was something like 700 people, and the boat capsized in the river while docked. It just tipped over, and nobody could get out.
Oh my God.
That's the second largest to the Titanic when it comes to people dying in a boat. No one knows about this. Also crazy, about 4 years ago, somebody
yes, King, go off.
so 4 years ago, somebody's going through the Chicago archives in the library. They find like 20 minutes of film footage of that boat tipped over. And like people are just on top, like, what do we do? Like they couldn't get anyone out. Like everyone was just drowning.
God.
Imagine drowning while you're docked. Like they just couldn't get out. It's the most horrifying thing.
Crazy.
Now, another crazy thing about that too, George Halas. Do you know who George Halas is?
No.
All right. Well, he founded the NFL, National Football League, and the Chicago Bears. He was, I believe, like 20 at the time, and he was supposed to be at that party, and he was like 5 minutes late, and he arrived, and it had already flipped.
Thank God.
So would
Holy
football
shit.
Wow.
have even happened if he had been five? Yeah, whatever. That's not really my legend, though.
No, these are all great. Those are all good.
All right. Well, the urban legend. This is the one. This is the only paranormal experience I've had that I cannot explain. Oh. It's a cemetery called White Cemetery in Barrington, Illinois, which is a very wealthy suburb. I think the Walgreens fortune is there. Brock's Candy, like it's like old Chicago money, So anyway, the cemetery, White Cemetery, was established in 1820. It's you drive into Barrington, and they're like beautiful like horse property houses, like big houses, but with 50 acres, 100-acre lots. And you're driving. The road's called Cuba Road. You could look this up. You drive, and you're just amongst all these like just fields, and then there's this little tiny cemetery. And there's been reports for at least 50, 60 years of like, white orbs, whatever. So it's kind of the place to go when, I grew up in the area, not in the Barrington area, but about a half an hour away. Anyway, my friends and I go one night. It's like, hey man, let's go to White, that kind of thing. It was in high school. So we drive out there, and I'm in the backseat with my friend Chris, and we pull into the cemetery, like, they have gates that they still open and close. The gates close, we pull in there. And I look to the left, and behind all these trees, there's like an old, like 1800s house, and every window is glowing like orangish red. Swear to God, I'm both of my dead parents. Swear to God. I look over at it, and I go, holy shit. I go, look, and we look back, and it was gone. This has been in my mind. Yeah, hold on. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. We were probably drinking. Back then we drank and drove and crazy, stupid stuff. So I'm like, all right, well, I wanted to see something because, this and all that. And then probably about, I don't know, like a year ago, it just pops into my head. I look it up online. There's 3 things people talk about. A black car, like an older car, pulls up in front of the cemetery and then will just disappear. The white orbs floating over headstones in the cemetery. And a disappearing house that allegedly was burned to the ground.
Whoa.
This happened to me in like 1988. And it's not something I had in my mind. The internet wasn't really around. I didn't look it up.
Yeah.
And then I just bought this like Legends and Hauntings of Illinois book. And that's one of the things that other people have said.
Whoa,
Swear to God on my
that's
parents.
crazy.
Yeah. Look up the cemetery. I mean, it's really cool. There's also there's a railroad track nearby, and in a lot of those rural areas, they don't have, gates. You're just expected to pull up and look. And people will hear a train, they'll pull up and they'll see a light, and then it never comes, but they'll hear the train. And then once they look away and look back, the train, the light from the train, it never comes. That's another one.
That's crazy.
Anyway, that's White Cemetery in Barrington, Illinois, on Cuba Road, established 1820.
Wow.
So we're at the 200-year anniversary this year.
Ooh.
We should go there and see if we see it.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what. Pick up a book about Chicago hauntings and ghost stories. I mean, just the fact that the Iroquois theater fire had like 500 deaths, and then like within 3 years later, 700 people drowned about 900 feet from the theater.
That's crazy.
That's like 9/11 shit. You're like just right in that area.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just a ton of and all the mobsters up there, and this place is haunted because of the St. Valentine's Day massacre and all the the organized crime, and not to mention another thing I forgot to mention though is H.H. Holmes, the Devil in the White City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he used the Chicago World's Fair in order to, the Hotel of Horrors, right? You know that story?
Yep.
Yeah, we were going to do an episode on him.
Well, you got to
yeah.
do, I think they're doing that movie. I think Scorsese optioned that book.
Oh, really?
The Devil in the White City.
They portrayed him on American Horror Story, too, or a character based off him.
I mean, how diabolical is that? Like
that's
setting
crazy.
up, like piping gas into rooms. This is in the 1800s, man. Like,
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
with like a little slot so he could watch the like collapsible floor. Like, it's crazy.
He's
It's
insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole story. Anyway, is that enough?
All right. Yeah, that was great.
Thank you, as
Thank
usual,
you.
Greg. Thank you.
As
Craig.
usual.
Just dropping in. All right, bye, ladies.
Bye. Just a wealth of knowledge.
What?
He's just a wealth of knowledge, knows so many
know.
facts about everything.
I know.
What a roller coaster, folks. If you have urban legends, first of all, huge for the podcast that we got Mr. P.F. Tompkins on today.
Huge.
And if you guys have your own urban legends that you would like to send in, Melissa, where can people reach us?
You can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter and Instagram or Reddit or Facebook.
Great. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed what we laid out for you today. I am Allison Jordan Siegel.
I am Melissa Ann Stetton.
And I'm Maria Jordan Stetton.
Huh?
See what I did?
What? Bye.
Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.